What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Robin. And so here we have the Multiverse Robin pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Robin here does come with 3 accessories. We do get 2 shurikens, which do fit in his hands really nicely. I do like the design of them. And then we also do get a sword, although I do believe this is Deathstroke's sword, which is interesting, but he does come with a sword. And his final accessory is, of course, the McFarlane display base. Other than that, Robin here doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at Robin. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with it, this is Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's biological son, and he does look fantastic. I think McFarlane has done a really good job of capturing the likeness of Damian Wayne, especially because he has this really smug, holier-than-thou-art attitude, which I think is captured perfectly here with this figure. Really do like the fact that out of all the Robins, he has a green mask. I think it would have been interesting to see all the Robins have different color masks, but that's just me, honestly, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do that eventually. But yeah, we do have a really nice looking Robin here. Really do like the fact that his hair is going off to the side. It's really stylized, and this makes me hope that we do get a Jonathan Kent, because I think that'll look so good having the Super Sons together in McFarlane style. But yeah, really liking this, the way he looks. Now, there's a lot of things to like about this figure and plenty of things to not like about this figure, which we'll go on to the pros and cons as we have a more in-depth look of the figure. So I already talked about his head sculpt, so let's actually move on to his costume. We do have almost reminiscent of Flashpoint Batman with the pointed shoulders coming out of the cape, which it fits Damian Wayne. I'm not gonna lie, it actually does fit Damian here. I really do love the way that his cape looks. Really like the way it does come over his shoulders. It's a really nice little homage to Batman, because, you know, he is the boy wonder. And something I really do like, he actually has texturing on his cape. We saw with the Red Sun Superman that he lacked texturing on his cape, even though he was a comic book character, or the look came from a comic book. This look comes from a comic book, but they actually textured his cape, and it looks really nice. I kind of wish that we got a hooded version of Damian as well. That would have been a nice little nod, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over a non-hooded version of Damian. As you can see, he does have the traditional Robin color scheme with the red and yellow tabs going up his costume, but this is more modernized and it fits Damian more than all the other Robins. You can see he has some more straps coming along the front of him. We do have the R for Robin right there. Something I do like is that McFarlane did add some armor plating to his shoulder and made it look like there's some Kevlar right here on his arm, just to show that, you know, he is wearing bulletproof armor. We do get onto his gauntlets, which you can see they are green, and they kind of have pseudo Batman spikes there, which I do like the fact that he does take some inspiration from Batman's costume and applies it to his own. And then we have some coverings on his hand. We have some knuckle dusters right there, so he has some power behind his punches. And then something else that you'll notice is that his tunic is actually textured, which I really love when they texture tunics like this, just because it adds a little more depth and realism to the character. And when it catches the light, it looks very nice. Really good job there. He does have a utility belt where you can see the clip in the front. Then we do have his pouches going all the way around. And something that I kind of wish they did is have more pouches, especially right here in the back. As it stands, I really do like the placement of these. I just feel like it could have been a little bit better. His tunic does, of course, drop down, which I really do like that little detail. The tunic drops down below his thighs, as you can see. We have some more texturing detailing right here on his undersuit. You can see the black has some more of that Kevlar weave to it. Then we go on to his knee pads, where he has some coverings right here, which also have some texturing to them. Really do like that. He has some really nice knee pads right there. Then we go on to his boots, which is a little bit surprising that he actually has laces. You don't really expect superheroes to have laced up boots, but Damian here sure does have laced up boots. And something I do like is that the laces right here are separate pieces, so they are a little bit flexible. don't go too crazy with them because you'll end up popping them off. So you want to just be aware that these are softer pieces, but they're not to be played with in the sense that they move around. Really, really liking the texture here on his boots. They did a really good job capturing that armored vibe to it. Then we also do have some plating right here on the back of his heel, and then at the toes where we have some more armor. But surprisingly, the armor is only on the outside, and then we just have like this little strip right here. So yeah, Damien here has a lot of nice little details about him. He has a lot going on with him. I think in terms of detailing, he has quite a bit, but I think an alternate head would have been nice, especially where he has a giant smirk. I do like the attitude that this one gives, because you can cock his head to the side and he's like, what are you going to do about it, dick? Nothing. But yeah, I really do like that. But an alternate head where he's smirking probably would have been really nice to have as well. But that's neither here nor there. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Damian Wayne posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Damian Wayne posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Men's Core 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Damian Wayne posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. Here we have Damian Wayne posed next to a McFarlane Nightwing and a McFarlane Batman. And finally, here we have the McFarlane Damian Wayne posed next to the Icons Damian and the Mattel Multiverse Damian. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a closer look at Robin's articulation. And this is one area that I think Robin does suffer from the most. For starters, he does have a double ball joint here in the head, which he can look up. Could look up a little bit better, but that's as far as he goes. He can look down quite a bit, although not a character that should be looking down so much, because he is shorter than most of your collection for the McFarlane figures. He can tilt his head side to side really nicely. Then we have left and right rotation there. We do have a ball joint going into the torso, but it really doesn't do anything. It doesn't move that far forward or that far back, doesn't shift down, doesn't really shift up. We can move it all the way to the side, which is really useful. Does go up to about right there before it starts butting up against the cape, and if the cape wasn't there, it would do a full 360. We do have a bicep swivel, which works fine. Now, Robin unfortunately only has a single bend in the elbow, which isn't the best. As you can see, it does leave some gapping right there, which is a little bit unfortunate. And even though it is 90 degrees, it's still better than a lot of other figures, so I'll give it credit there. He does have a ball hinge here at the wrist, which does move forward and back, does rotate up so you can have up and down hinge, and then of course swivels on that peg. So this is where I'm a little bit confused on his articulation, honestly. I want to say he has an ab crunch, and I know he does, because he does click forward to about right there, which isn't much. He can click back to about right there is about as much as I'm willing to push it. But yeah, his entire torso right here is rubber overlaid skeleton, like we saw with the Joker, Batman Who Laughs, Last Night on Earth Batman. But it's so rigid right here in the front that it kind of negates any forward crunching, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Then he also does have a swivel, or not a swivel, but the hinge on the side, so he can click to the side, can click to the other side. But it's not a lot, and I don't want to push it too far, because as I push it, I've actually popped his legs off so many times, and that's one issue I've had with this figure, is that the legs pop off really easy, and it's not because it's poorly made. Well, it might be poorly made, I don't know. It's because his legs are on ball joints, so we do have them going forward. We have them going back. Out to the side, you can see that's a ball joint right there. So we can slightly rotate that on the ball joint, so that's really interesting. We do have only a single bend here at the knee, and it's not the best that we've ever seen. It doesn't even go 90 degrees, which is incredibly unfortunate, and he doesn't have any thigh swivel. So Robin here is quite limited, and you can see his foot doesn't even go that far back. Now it goes a little bit farther forward, but yeah, no backwards movement. It does rotate on this ball joint, and then we do have forward-facing pin for a rocker ankle, so we can get a true rocker ankle out of that. And then, of course, we do have a very generous toe hinge. So overall, not the most articulated figure we've had a look at, and I understand what they were trying to do, but it overall was poorly executed, in all honesty. He looks good, but he just can't pose as well as you think, which is really unfortunate. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the McFarlane Damian Wayne Robin posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I think McFarlane has done a good job with this figure. There are things that could have been improved on. For example, if he had just used the standard ball joints in the torso, I think that would be so much better than those hinges. Because the rubbery overlay that they use for this particular version of Robin is kind of too thick, and it does really limit posability. Also, the fact that he has ball joints in the hips, you would think is a good idea, but because those ratcheting joints in his waist and abs are very tight, you have a tendency to pop those off rather than actually moving the joints, which is a little bit unfortunate. If he had used the regular McFarlane style hips, I think it would be okay. Those ball joints are useful on some figures, but on this figure, it is quite a hindrance, in all honesty. Another downside to this figure is he only has single jointed elbows and knees, which that really does hurt when it comes to posability. It's not impossible to get him in poses, don't get me wrong. You can still get him to pose nicely. You just need those double joints to pose him better. That's not saying that he can't pose, and I do have him in a really decent pose right now, and that's just manipulating the joints so that it does move. I do think I forgot to mention that he does have a waist swivel. I was honestly not sure he even had one, but after messing around with it a while, I finally got that joint to move around, which I am really thankful that he does have a waist swivel, because it makes it so much easier to get him in dynamic poses. Well, as dynamic as this figure can get. If you're a fan of Damian Wayne, which I know there are some people that really don't care much for the character, and there are some people that really do like this figure, I really do recommend you pick him up, especially if you've been collecting the McFarlane line up to this point, because we already have Batman, Robin, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, Jason Todd, and Batgirl, and we're only really missing Tim Drake's Red Robin, which I really do hope to see in the future, because that's the last of the core Bat family members that we need, and this figure is just done exceptionally well. If you are looking for a Damian Wayne Robin, he should start hitting stores at the time I'm making this video. I did get mine off Amazon for $20, so if you do happen to see him on Amazon and you really need a Robin in your collection, and you're collecting the McFarlane scale or 7-inch scale, this is a really good figure to add to your collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other McFarlane DC Multiverse videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.